welcome back to The Square. I am your host, Curtis the Fifth.
And I'm Curtis the Fourth.
And today is the 26th, so it's Tuesday. Week 7 is in the books, so we are going to recap that as we always do. We'll look ahead to Week 8, dive into some news and headlines, power rankings. We'll get those updated for you guys this week, and then we will finish out the show with game picks. So let's go ahead, just dive right in, as we always do. Week 7 recap. Let's start there. Some very good games last week. Surprisingly good, I would say. There were some shockers, there were some close ones, there were some blowouts. So we had a wide variety in Week 7. Let's start with, let's go down the list. We got Thursday's games. Browns, they pull out the win versus the Broncos way back when. 17-14. Got you there.
Oh, don't worry. It's coming back.
I mean, we tied this week. What was it, 7-6 with both of us? Yep. Yeah, so.
Gizmo 7-6.
It was not a good week for our picks. If you listen to us, we're sorry. Packers, though, on Sunday, they pull out a pretty handed win there, 24-10 versus Washington. Again, Washington, fraudulent. They are not going to be competing for anything this year, in my opinion. I don't know if there's too much to say about them. And I don't know if there's too much to say about Green Bay after this game. I feel like it's like you were supposed to win. Not much there. But there is something here. Kansas City takes a absolute shellacking against the Tennessee Titans, 27-3. Chiefs fall to 3-4, below 500 for the second time this season. Titans, though, they get all the way up to 5-2. Didn't even realize that this game was at home for the Titans. But yeah, the Titans came out and just jumped out on them early, which happens a lot against Kansas City. But it just looked like Kansas City gave up. They couldn't fight back, especially once they got into halftime and they were down 24-3 at that point. 24-0. They just literally just came out and just didn't look like they had any will to even try to get back into that game. Especially then Patrick Mahomes goes down with a concussion. Was that late in the third quarter? So at that point, it was just like, all's lost. Let's just pack it in.
Well, I personally don't take anything extra into this game outside of still staying focused on where the issues are, and it's that defense. But any poor defensive team will be affected offensively eventually, and this is just one of these games. And they're not playing a cupcake team. Tennessee, I know they kind of one of these Jekyll and Hyde teams where they good one week, the next week you don't even understand what's the game script going on. But I knew it was supposed to be one of these big game. It was a marquee one. If we even want to extend it back to the playoffs, the last couple of years, this is what makes Tennessee a legitimate, contender. I don't know if they're necessarily a Super Bowl contender versus just being a playoff contender. They're kind of on that line, towing that line right now. But for Kansas City, this would have been a get right game for them, and they would have been able to start to build some momentum. And yet we seen them regress even further. Wrong. And now there's no offense. And I mean, granted, there's a slew of injuries that's going on here, where we already know that there's something wrong with Kelsey. There's something wrong with Hill. There's obviously been something wrong offensively going on as far as play selections with Miko Hardman and
Brian Pringle.
Not Pringle, not the other
Robinson.
Robinson. Then we have, and I'm going to say, I believe we have Josh Gordon over there, but I don't remember.
I don't even know if he stepped in.
I don't know if he suited up to yesterday. That's my point. It's like he was nowhere to be found, and. Yeah, this was a true regression game.
It was not pretty. Just across the board, they made Ryan Tannehill look like an elite quarterback defensively. Kansas City just was not able to stop him. And then, I will say a little bit of solace. Derrick Henry almost had 30 carries and only got 86 yards. So that was a little bit more of like, okay, you guys can really, if you try and you apply yourself, you can try to stop the run. It's nice to see a little bit of a showing from Frank Clark since he's finally been back with the team. That there just was, I don't know what there is to say from this game. It's just like that. This is bad. It's not like That's the only words that come to mind when you look at what happened in this game. It's just bad.
Yeah, and I don't want to say when the defense showed up, the offense didn't. I mean, but this is
No.
probably one of the better defensive, just based on what you were saying. You hold Derrick Henry under 100 yards rushing. Tannehill, yeah, he had 270, but and he had a bounce back game overall. But you kind of controlled it. They only put 27 on the board. I mean, I'm only saying that to Kansas City, where they should easily be able to put up 35.
Well, and
but
Kansas City shot themselves in the foot with the turnovers time and time again in this game. It's just they look to a team that we will talk about later. That offense looked like the Chicago Bears offense. It was bad.
And that's
drop passes, offensive line wasn't blocking.
There's nothing to take from that. Exactly. It's like, okay, and I was getting to that. The offensive line, just missing in action. I'm not saying that they're a bad line, but maybe this speaks to the fact that they're all new and they're still getting used to themselves, and that's fine. But in real time, you see what's happening.
Yeah,
it's they're suffering for it right now. Hopefully they can turn this around in the next couple weeks or so, or they're going to be quickly falling out of the playoff race.
Yeah, they got to do it. They got to do it soon. If not next week, the week after.
But let me say this, and I can finally say this.
They finally out of that death row.
Murderer's Row is done. I mean, this 7 weeks was hell, and
they came out just under 500. One game up,
right?
500.
And when we get into game picks, I can get into a little further, but I will just say this caveat: they lose to the Giants, it's pack it up. I'm done. I don't care about the next 8 weeks. It does not matter. You cannot lose next week to the Giants at home on a Monday night game. That's all I'm saying.
Really going out on the limb there with that statement.
Yeah, way out on the limb. But I'm. It's more of a declaration to this is where I'm at with the Chiefs.
Yeah.
You don't win this one, I don't have any faith going further. I don't give a damn what you try to do. Yeah. Even if you ran the table and got into through the first round, I suspect, and if I had to put money on it, you're going to be on the first round exit. I just don't see them as that team at this point. And it's we're at the halfway point, but you can't come out the gate losing to the Giants. I'm sorry. You just can't.
Yeah. Well, let's talk. Let's move on. I think let's talk Miami versus Miami versus Atlanta. Miami is a perplexing team. They have these moments of looking like they're actually a decent team here and then they have these other moments of just absolutely falling apart, and their record reflects that they're a horrible team because they're 1-6 and they've lost to teams that they should have beaten. And I really think Miami should have won this game, but they shot themselves in the foot early in this game, going down, getting what was it, 17-0 at some point in this game. They got jumped out on pretty early in this game, and they just did not look like they really came to play in the first half, especially in that second quarter.
Mm-hmm.
But they fight back, they get back into the game, and then their defense just completely, the bottom falls out in the fourth quarter, late in the fourth quarter, to let Atlanta back into this game. Atlanta wins the game on the road 30-28 here. But they made Matt Ryan look good, which he did not look good in the first half, but he ended up with a stat line of
never looks good.
336 yards and 2 touchdowns, no turnovers. Kyle Pitts had another really good game. I mean, 7 receptions for 163 yards. He finally just came out of his shell.
That's 163 yards.
And yeah, Myles Gaskin showed up. Thank you. 15 carries for 67 yards to keep the Dolphins in this game and actually start to try to build that lead late in the game. But
I'd be that guy that gets all super excited about Myles Gaskin now and say, see, this is what you do. Run the ball. He had 15 carries. Give him 22 carries, and you can just let him run. Let Myles Gaskin cook.
Yeah, please. Yeah. I would not be complaining about that.
That's like that for all you listeners. That's like Friday evening radio.
Yeah,
sports radio for you.
But
that guy.
the thing about it is that he's possibly is going to get that 20-25 carry game because now Malcolm Brown is down, and I don't know who the third running back is over there. So
Ahmed.
yeah, I don't trust that he's going to be the guy to steal Gaskins' touches
Now,
away.
when they split carries next week, you'll see they
that,
regress back again.
And when they lose,
as they will.
Yeah.
I don't have any faith in Miami. I'm sorry. After this one, I'm sorry. This was kind of like the elimination game for me. Like whoever lost this one, I'm just completely out on you because it's a process of elimination of these bad teams.
Well, we've got something to talk about with Miami later on, so don't be just out on them just yet. So we'll talk about it. But Atlanta, we'll see what you say later. Atlanta, though, 3-3, they're still in it. They're really right there. They're only one game behind New Orleans now. So they're not, or I guess 1.5 games. But they're right there. Like they could teeter onto the side of actually looking like a team that could contend for a playoff spot. Especially with Carolina losing this week, and we'll talk about that one in a second.
I mean, when they win in the games they supposed to,
was this a game they were supposed to win? I
don't know. I mean, teams at the bottom, I think they all just the team, just the game they're supposed to win. Because they, for whatever reason, I'm thinking they won in London and they didn't. They lost, but they should have won in London. And so I don't know if this was.
Miami. I thought you were talking about Atlanta. I was like, Atlanta won.
Did they? They went. See, I'm getting them confused.
Because Atlanta went before their bye week. They
didn't play Jacksonville. Miami did.
I'm
getting the games mixed.
No, you're right though. Miami did lose that game that they should have won, but.
And then this one is so it's just Atlanta, Miami, Jacksonville, Detroit, Houston. Take your pick week to week. They all suck. Just, overall, I mean, but Atlanta has shown a little life recently, and I mean,
they've as it stands right now, it looks like they were right for getting rid of Julio Jones for Kyle Pitts.
Absolutely,
just putting that out there. So I mean, for everything that we ragged on from the offseason,
to complete the puzzle and get rid of Matt Ryan, but hey, got rid of one of your issues.
Well, if they got rid of Matt Ryan, they would have went with the quarterback, and then they wouldn't have been able to get Kyle Pitts. So, kind of a catch-22 for them.
But it's like when you that bad.
Yeah. So yeah, they're in a perplexing situation. I just don't know where to put them. Really, I don't know if they really truly are a playoff contender or a wild card contender for that matter, or especially in that division.
I got them in a weird area in our power rankings too. I mean, I probably gave them a few spots.
I can't even remember where I put them.
It's just the way the games fell, and we had a lot of people on bye. It's just how it played out. So it's bear with us.
Yeah,
we're trying to get this thing licked, and yeah, this was one of those yawners, but it became one of just like you said. Atlanta just kind of surged in the second half, and caught Miami just kind of slipping at the end.
In the fourth quarter, that's when they took over.
I mean, and and then another gut-wrenching,
loss for Miami.
Last second field goal, walk-off field goal. That's 2 weeks in a row. Miami. I won't necessarily get nobody fired, but that damn show is not helping y'all situation in PR and selling this team going forward. So. I like Miami as a franchise. Honestly, I actually do. I like where they're going and what they're trying to do because they seemingly like if you look at the pieces they're putting out there, the game script they're putting out there, I think it's all solid. They just don't have talent.
And they're and the kind of the perplexing thing is as much as we've talked about Miami possibly moving off of Tua, Beeflo and whoever the offensive coordinator is over there have really put Tua in the best chances to win, and it for whatever reason, whether it's defensively or offensively, one of the two has a bad inefficiency or a deficiency towards the end of the game that cost them the win. But Tua in that offense has gotten this team in position to win multiple games.
Right.
So they're on this kind of like really perplexing path right now where most of the time when you see a team with multiple one-score games, they'll win a couple of those. It seems like every single time they're in a one-score game, they lose it this year. So it's just bad luck this year, in all honesty, for right now. But one team that doesn't have bad luck that just really sucks is the Jets, who lost 13-54 against the Patriots. And they get swept in the season series versus them. So and Zach Wilson goes down in this game. He's injured now. Mac Jones looked really, really good, 307 yards and 2 touchdowns. Damian Harris had a just monster game with 106 yards on 14 carries and another 2 touchdowns. And then Brandon Bolden did not know he was still in the league. 6 receptions, 79 yards in the touchdown.
This guy like in his 37th season. Goodness.
So yeah, they played a very, very good game all around. And this is just Bill Belichick beating up on little brother here. They just stomped him out. They didn't give him any signs of life. Like they did not give the Jets a single chance at ever thinking that they could possibly be in this game.
No. I think regression is an understatement here. Man,
is it regression? How many wins did they have last year?
But yeah, it's a bad franchise. I don't have much to add to this. I mean, I just have to say this: they're bad. And then did you hear about the blockbuster trade last night?
Yes, I did see. Joe Flacco is now a New York Jet coming back from New England.
Philadelphia. This is how bad the situation is. They just traded for Joe Flacco. I mean,
come on, Bears.
I don't have a problem
for Nick Foles out of here.
I don't have a problem for Joe Flacco. We get to put a pin in that. I don't have a problem with Joe Flacco in general, but it just
you don't have a problem with Joe Flacco 10 years ago. That's what it is.
And no, because hear what I'm about to say. There's a bigger issue in the Joe Flacco signing than what we're saying. It's not the fact that they signed Joe Flacco. It's more about who the hell was the number 2 in the first place that you had on the team that you sitting there like, I don't even want to go with you. We're gonna go get Joe Flacco. That's even worse. That guy is worse than what Nick Foles is to Chicago, because
I never even thought about that. You're right.
That's horrible. That's the first thing I was thinking. Like, okay, who was they backup then? I'm like, I thought he was the backup. I'm like, oh, he left there. I forgot he even left. I thought
he was there, and then he left.
That's what I'm saying. They're like, because they kept talking about Joe Flacco on the radio, and I'm like, oh, he's just gonna, he's number 2. And they're like, oh no, he was traded from Philadelphia. When the hell did he go to Philadelphia? And why do I not remember this trade? And why? I guess I don't want.
It wasn't a trade. I think he just signed over there because I think he had a 1-year deal with the Jets last year. He goes into free agency and he goes to Philadelphia, and then Philadelphia was like, "Here you go, give me that 6th-round pick."
And that's my point. And that's how bad the New York Jets situation is right now. Kudos to Joe Flacco. Maybe he can eke out a couple of wins, but
not winning anything here. I don't know what the plan is.
I'm just saying I think this is just coach is just trying to save his job. You got to do something. And I mean, but the fact that I don't think
they're firing Saleh this year. I mean, none of this is his fault.
he stays this course and don't do anything. Next year, he's already on the hot seat. That's all I'm saying. He won't even see the end of next year. So with the Jets job, I'm sorry to tell you.
Yeah, I guess so.
I know what you're saying. You don't get a lot of rope here, and then you come out. You get all of these assets. I can't say enough how much I bragged about their draft. Their
draft was really good.
I don't know if they need to just play those guys and just sit down all these veterans. I don't know what the hell is going on, but nothing is working over there whatsoever. They truly are probably the most dysfunctional team in the league. As much as I talk about Atlanta, as much as I talk about Detroit, sometimes we poke at Houston. Right, that's what I'm saying. But from a functionality team, from quarter 1 to quarter 4, this has to be by far the worst team in the league. I don't think this is a hot take. I think this is just common sense. Open your eyes and look. Crunch numbers if you like to. Ain't much to crunch.
Yeah.
But it's horrible. You can go ahead. I didn't have a whole much
There's
to
not
add.
much to say. I mean, you talked about the Jets. I mean,
God, they're bad.
Patriot-wise, they're now 3-4. They're only 1 game under 500.
Did Tom Brady come back to New England?
that was one of the things. Mac Jones looked so good in this game, and now I do think it's between Jamar Chase and Mac Jones for Rookie of the Year right now. These two dudes are both playing so well. Jamar Chase obviously has the upper hand.
Man, I'm gonna throw my Najee Harris hat in there. But I know he ain't there.
Yeah,
he a dark horse third.
He's a distant third right now.
He ain't getting enough work right now.
So
hey, y'all, 10 more carries a game.
Jamar Chase just broke a record. He's up there in that upper echelon with the first 7 games of his career.
I want to call Fugazi on him. I'm sorry. I know. Not.
We'll talk about
Oh
we'll talk
my God,
about
I wanna
Cincinnati
talk
in a
about
couple
him.
of games.
Okay,
Just
I'm
wait.
sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Finish your thing.
But
Finish your thing.
Mac Jones, I think,
Oh God.
for as much as everybody talked about him in the draft
Mhm.
process this offseason, me, you, just everybody talking about the top 5 quarterbacks. To me, I don't think Mac Jones works anywhere else but New England. I think this is the perfect system for him. This is a perfect storm for him. He doesn't need the big play weapons because I don't think he has the arm to get the ball down the field. Granted, he did just throw a 35-yard bomb to end up on the 1-yard line in this game. Outside of that, I don't think he can do that consistently and be accurate consistently beyond 30-yard plays.
Mhm.
So that is one thing. But outside of that, you got a Hunter Henry, you have a Jonnu Smith, you have Jacoby Myers,
Aguilar.
you have Nelson Aguilar, and there's one
Kendrick
more,
Bourne.
Kendrick Bourne. You have all of these guys that are. All 3 of those wide receivers are all slot guys.
Right.
They're not going 25, 30 yards down the field and competing with the bigger cornerbacks in the league. They're simply not. They can't physically do that. And they've built an entire offense around it.
Mhm.
And they just basically took that Tom Brady playbook. You saw the OC over there just pick it up, dust it off right there real quick because they had to pull out a new playbook for Cam Newton, and then they're just like, yep, here you go, and they gave that one right over to Mac Jones. He's just like, oh, yeah, I can do all the dink and duck stuff Tom Brady did, and just continuously, methodically, straight down the field, doesn't matter, and then just turn around, hand the ball off to Damian Harris, and let him go to work. Like, they did not skip a single beat. And this game itself has completely breathed new life into New England, I think. Even though, yes, it's the Jets, but this is a super young team with a young QB. They just looked very good this game.
There's ever a team to get right on.
Yeah, for sure. So I am excited to see. Well, I know everybody is going to be just like, God, I don't want to see New England anymore. But at this point, I'm excited to see what Mac Jones does in New England and how he's able to, and how Bill Belichick is able to utilize him in this offense and where they're going to end up going. Because he does look like Tom Brady, like 0.5. Like he's like the little young Tom Brady out there right now. And they possibly, I think, could make a push to try to get that 7 spot now. I know I was completely out on them when going into the season, but this is kind of that midway correction for me. New England, they look good, and for right now against these lesser teams, the teams that they're supposed to win against, they really are putting up really nice showings against them, and they're putting up nice showings against teams that they're not supposed to be. I mean, they just went into overtime with the Dallas team that has so much more of a high-powered offense than they do.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, they're competing they're in really tough games. They're competing, and in these easy games, they're making it look easy. So that's where I feel like maybe in 2 years, when Mac Jones has some more experience, he's able to read more plays and read the defense a little bit better and more efficiently and quicker. And at the line, he can make his adjustments the way that Tom Brady does. I don't know. This team could be right back into, hey, we're still that dynasty. We just took a couple years off.
Could be. I won't necessarily disagree with that. It's just, yeah. I can't get over how bad the Jets are. I mean, just have you broke down these numbers? Have you seen?
I didn't want to look how bad those numbers were. I have not looked at the box score for them.
Not the numbers itself, but let me see it. Let me put it out here like this. Michael Carter is your leading rusher with 37 yards.
Oh.
That's your leading rusher. Okay?
Under 40 for your leading rusher?
That's your leading rusher. Keep in mind.
That's how you already know you lost.
And Michael Carter was your leading receiver. 8 for 67. And
okay,
your second, great game for Michael Carter.
Yeah, 107 yards.
Ty Johnson is the next leading wide receiver on the team. The backup running back. 8 for 65.
Oh, wow.
Where the hell are your receivers at?
Because Corey Davis. 4
for 47.
APB out for Corey Davis.
6 targets. The man was, I guess he was swallowed up the whole game. I don't know. I guess Zach Wilson dinked and dunked as much as he could for as long as he can. Because we talking about Michael
I
Carter
mean,
with
then he
9
sprained
targets.
what is it, PCL? Like he's done for a few 6 weeks, I think.
Yeah,
is the
16
timeline.
targets amongst these 2 running backs. So I'm just saying that the entire offense is turned upside down right now. Crowder was the number 4 guy, 4 for 34. I mean, just the running game doesn't exist. The running backs are your leading play. They're just your leading your performers on your team. I mean, it's a complete blowout. They couldn't have been playing that hard going in the second half. You know what I'm saying? New England, and it's just as much as I wanted to just end on this great note about how New England plays so well, considering who they beat and how bad this team that they beat.
Yeah,
I just can't end on that note. It just has to end on, dude. The Jets are horrible. I mean, horrible, and they're not even 32 on my damn power. Would you believe that?
Well, let's talk about another horrible team.
Yeah, but
the Giants pull out an emphatic win in the second half versus Carolina, and they get their second win of the season, and they win 25-3 against the Carolina Panthers.
Can we be done with the New York teams this year? Just completely. Can we put them in a package deal and just be done with them? Because neither one of these teams, in their win, they don't deserve to be in the league. They don't deserve to be in the NFL. They need to be renounced. We need a new expansion
an
NFL
team. Relegation.
Send them over to send them over to the Canadian League. Send them over to NFL Europe. Restart NFL Europe with the New York Giants. To let them be the.
Jacksonville's going to kick that off. You already know that.
This is what the hell? How did they win? That's all I want to know. That's my only question. That's my analysis of this. How did y'all win?
Well, I don't think this had anything to do with the Giants. I think this 1,000% had everything to do with Carolina. I think Carolina is focused on, hey, we really just need to get Christian McCaffrey back. This offense looks absolutely this offense is night and day with and without Christian McCaffrey. And you saw it even in that Houston game when Christian McCaffrey went down.
Right.
They were rolling. They were having a great game. And then Christian McCaffrey goes down, and it stalls for a bit. Now, they did pick it back up in the second half, and Sam Darnold became the leading rusher and just kind of took over that game. But then you go into the next weeks, and these last 4 weeks, they literally just cannot play, and they can't build off of the run because they have no run game. In Chuba Hubbard, he is a good running back, but they don't scheme him the same way that they scheme Christian McCaffrey because they're not the same guys. Chuba Hubbard is strictly a rusher, whereas Christian McCaffrey, he's such a utility player that you really can't lock him down. And he's all over the place, and that's how he's able to get so many touches, and that's how he's able to create as much offense as he is able to create because he is literally everywhere. Yeah. But Chuba Hubbard, you have to just put him in the backfield and you have to run him because that's all he really can do. And it just it's super easy, I guess, for defenses to stifle that and then just say, hey, Sam Darnold, go out there and beat us. And he did not. He had no way of getting anything done.
Mm-mm. No, I'm sorry. This I was want to throw up in my shirt looking at this as I was following this and monitoring this game on Sunday, and just what the hell was going on in Carolina and why couldn't they seem to get going? It's just the damn Giants.
Yeah,
I mean, can the Giants
every now and again have played
show up and be a team like that? Sure they can, but come on now, 25-3.
No,
3 point.
That defense is not good enough to hold you to 3 points, to keep you out of the end zone. That's not what this defense does. No. They make it tough for you to get into the end zone, but there are definitely ways to get in the end zone. And I think this is that specifically, and is an indictment on Matt Rule for not scheming a way when you're on plus territory to get the ball in the end zone.
No Barkley, no Shepard, no Kadarius Toney.
Was Galladay playing in this game?
Oh, and no Galladay.
Yeah.
What the hell? That's what I'm trying to say. It should have been 25-3 Carolina.
And still a remedial Daniel Jones. So
it didn't make any sense. They had half of their starting lineup is out for their skilled players, and yet they still keep rolling. Come on, it's games like this that give, there's gonna be Giants fans out there like, oh, we're turning it around, and
well,
man. I'm just saying.
Whenever I hear that, I'm just like, let's wait. Let me see
But
next
any
week.
1-5 team that just won some middle of the road game because they're just happy to win, that's just gonna come with that with fandom. I'm just come on, And now the Panthers 4 straight losses. I already kind of felt those first 3 wins was not as should have been as weighted as they were because the sports world was just on a tizzy when they were 3-0. It's like calm down, people, slow down. I mean, granted, he did look good.
Specifically Sam Darnold. I was big on Sam Darnold during those first 3 weeks because he looked like a whole new player. These last 4 weeks, he looks like the same old New York Jets Sam Darnold. Yeah. Especially last week. Last week was that's the I'm seeing ghost Sam Darnold. I don't know what the hell he was.
However, Zach Wilson's performance was worse.
That is a very fair point.
Which is kind of interesting. And I'm glad we're going to be getting through. If we're getting through all the bad games now, because these are
the next few games are actually very good.
Okay.
And let's get to it.
Carolina, get it together.
Cincinnati. Oh my God!
What the hell?
41-17 on the road to beat the Baltimore Ravens and to become now the leader in. They not only are they the leader in the AFC North, they are the leader in all of the AFC right now.
Yeah, I've never seen this in my life watching the NFL. So I mean, this is all new, uncharted territory, and
this team is good.
Wow. Yeah. Tennessee and Vegas lead the come on, man. What is this? We're in a twilight zone in the NFL. What is going on here? Cincinnati, yes. As I was telling you off the air a couple of days ago, they're that team now. They have proven it. Look, if you can go to Pittsburgh and you can go to Baltimore and win. And win both of them, you just split them and anything like that.
No, and you're that not team. Only did they beat Pittsburgh, they absolutely demolished Baltimore in the second half of this game. They defensively was one of the most impressive showings I've seen from any team to come out in the second half, only be up by 3, and then to come out and just absolutely stifle. I mean, they ended up giving up the touchdown in the third quarter to make it 17-13. And then they just went on their run. Samaje Perine had a big play touchdown. Joe Mixon just looked like he could not be tackled at all to get his touchdown. And then Joe Burrow just game managing, throwing the ball to Uzmata. Is that Uzama? I can never get his name right. That dude.
Uzama.
He had 2 big touchdowns in this game, one coming in the second half where it was just like, well, God, does anybody wrap up and tackle? They look, again, like Chicago. Can't tackle.
Did you catch that man reception?
No, I did not.
He had 2 big touchdowns, right?
Yeah.
3 for 91.
Jesus Christ. Yeah.
How many targets? 3.
If
that ain't efficiency, if that was, like how you got a quarterback rating?
Yeah.
There you go. Right there.
That's 153.3.
Perfect. I mean, damn near perfect.
And then, man, Jamar Chase, 8 receptions, 201 yards, and a touchdown. This dude was just he has quieted everybody who was talking crap before the season when he just could not catch a pass in the preseason. And the funny thing is watching this game and watching Cincinnati as a whole this season, you can still see that they have inefficiencies on the offensive line, as we were talking about going into this season. You can still see those holes. You can still see where Joe Burrow has to spin out and get out of the pocket to go make a play. You can see where Joe Mixon has to make a move in the backfield before he can even get to the line of scrimmage to make a play and get plus yards there. For them to be able to get to 5-2, beat 2 of the biggest boogeymans in the division, and handedly beat Baltimore, who is actually looking like a team who should be a Super Bowl contender this year.
527 yards. 200. Look, he threw for 416 yards. 201
Went to
came
Jamar
from
Chase.
Jamar Chase. The other 215 was the rest of the team.
And 91 of them went to Uzama.
I mean, oh my God. They're that team. I mean, Baltimore,
they're
shame
good.
on you. Good.
No.
Mean, good Lord. I mean, yeah, I ain't gonna sit there and say that I should be surprised you lost to Cincinnati, but yes, I am surprised based on how you lost. I mean, are you serious? You gave up
but the funny thing is
500
that
yards of offense.
Outside of the fourth quarter, it wasn't really a blowout until the fourth quarter, where they were just like, well, damn, like we just can't do anything anymore. That defense is sneakily one of the better defenses in the entire NFL right now.
Man, 28-7 run in the second half total. That's it was a tale of two halves, and all of us, I don't know what the hell happened because
they went on a 21-0 run to finish the game.
Like I said, whatever Baltimore team went into the tunnel did not come back out in the second half.
Absolutely not.
These imposters that came out here and gave up all these damn yards, and I'm like, I don't care what team you are. You can be the Jets. The Jets didn't even give up 500 damn yards. You know what I'm saying? In the midst.
But I think that's just a testament to Joe Burrow and this offense.
I mean, I'm not gonna argue that. I cannot understand how the hell they're pulling this off with this offensive line. I don't
get it because like I was saying, for them to be able to play, because you can see it while you're watching the games that this offensive line sucks still. Like you could, it is not like, oh, they're just playing better than their weight. Like, no, they really are that bad. But Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and Joe Mixon mask it so much. And this is the scary thing about this team right now, is if one of them goes down, I think it kind of all falls apart. And it's very fragile for the offense right now. And this is what I was concerned about going into the season, because every single time I see Joe Burrow take a hit, I'm just like, oh, God. Like, you just got to take in that collective breath, like, just, Wentz. Oh, my God.
It's almost when you was watching your guy last year get in Washington. Come on, help me out. Alex Smith.
Oh, Alex Smith, yeah.
It's that same.
Yeah, you just don't want to, like, every single time you see him.
Don't touch his leg. Don't touch his leg. Just don't touch that leg.
So that right now is where I'm just like, okay, if they can stay healthy, yeah, this is going to be fun to watch for the rest of the season. But that's where you would love to see an offensive line to come and step in and just be like, okay, we can just let you guys we can mask some of those things right now, but they really can't. So
no, and I just say shout out to their rush game. I mean, man, you talk about split carries almost at like 51 to 49%. I mean, it was almost as 50-50 as you can get. 12 for 59 and one touchdown for Joe Mixon. 11 for 52 and one touchdown for Samaje Perine. However, Perine did have a one big 46-yard run. So
yeah, he got his from the midfield.
So the touchdown saved his whole day, because he really did not have a good day. But at the end of the day, they had over 100 yards of rushing, over 400 yards of passing. I mean, good Lord. And really took it to Baltimore in Baltimore. And they're that team. They're in first, like you were just saying, they're in first place. I mean, over here with just got Vegas on their backs. That's really any kind of pressure. They're rolling, and they have proven me wrong. I mean, I wasn't down on Cincinnati, but I was like, "There's no way they're going to be beating these conglomerates in their division." And that was the whole point.
I took them to beat Pittsburgh, but I did not expect them to beat Baltimore. Not this game in Baltimore. If this was a close game, and then they just lost this by maybe say two possessions, 10-point game, but they fought really well. Going into the next game when they have to play them at their home, then it'd be like, okay, this actually could be one of these games. And they did this at the bank. They did this in Baltimore, in front of all those fans. It was funny to see in the fourth quarter to just see all the purple just start to fade out of the stands, because you could just see everybody leaving, and you could just see these dots of orange all across.
They should be disgusted. I would have been, because I'm not sitting there saying this should have been a blowout, in the Baltimore's favor. But if I was a fan of Baltimore going into this game, look, we own Cincinnati at home. It's like, dude, they don't come. Cincinnati does not win in Baltimore. Hell, I can't say many.
Cincinnati doesn't win at all.
And that's my point. It's just, yeah, I thought they was just gonna be kind of this bubble team this year. They're just kind of teetering and so flat. I thought they were going to be Vegas.
Yeah.
That's what I thought they were going to be. It's they're prisoner of their own division. They just happen to be in this overly, competitive division, and they like the hell with that. They did what now now kind of switching over. They're kind of doing what Arizona's doing. Like screw that script. We gonna we gonna write our own narrative here. And look at this. Smoke clears. Cincinnati has beaten Baltimore, and yeah, that goes another one of my number one teams is knocked out.
That was
I am running.
When it happened, I did make a mental note of that. I was just like, "Yep, it was you. It wasn't me. It was anytime you pick a new number one, that's who's gonna go down."
Out of there, and we got a new number one this week. So, y'all stay tuned for that one.
Okay.
I'm glad this one is number one. Like it's about time.
Well,
yeah.
This is a game that I did not watch by any means. I literally did not see a single play of this game. Raiders win 33-22 against Philadelphia. I don't have anything to say. I literally did not watch this game at all. So just the numbers. Derek Carr, 323 for 2 touchdowns. Apparently he played very well. Kenyon Drake had a solid day, 14 carries,
Second
69
half
yards.
blow up. And I was listening to him on the radio.
Gotcha.
And it was they just took it to him in the second half. I don't know what the hell. Philadelphia just couldn't hang.
Yeah. And I think that's kind of the synopsis about Philadelphia. They're a good team, or they're a solid team, I will say.
Mm-hmm.
But they just don't have the horses to finish games. It's kind of where I was at with them going into this game, and then just hearing that, it just kind of confirms it.
And that's with them scoring 15 in the fourth quarter. So
yeah.
Philadelphia. So I mean, they was just trying to make the damn game. Respective game was over.
Yeah.
That was just garbage time points.
But moving on, then, if you don't have anything else about you're the only one who listened to it. I literally did not follow this game by any means.
Not really. I mean, Jalen Hurts, I think overall another solid game statistically. I don't think game flow you would necessarily say he had a great game, but I really think they got something here with Jalen Hurts. I just want to say that. I wanted to give Vegas and Philadelphia that do really quickly. And for Vegas, congratulations, 2-0 since the Gruden fiasco. And
that is actually one big thing
which
now.
Is kind of interesting. Like, was that the issue here?
Well, to me, usually what happens when you lose your head coach in the middle of the season, I was actually expecting Vegas to win last week because they, for some reason, those teams, especially when it's something kind of actually horrible that happened,
mm-hmm.
you'll see the kind of players rally around each other and they'll get up for that game and they'll come out, but then emotionally it's so draining, they come out the following week and that second week departed from their head coach, and then they just come out so flat that they're just not able to stay in the game.
Right.
This time, no. They did come out flat in the first quarter apparently, but then they just kind of ran away with it. So I don't know. It's just that is one thing to kind of keep an eye on to see how this team continues to play, because maybe Gruden truly was the problem over there. It just culturally, emotionally, everything for this team. He just wasn't able to get them to play to the standards that they should be at with the talent that they have.
That's all. I just wanted to, and we can move on. I just wanted to say what I had to say. I thought it was an impressive win for Vegas, and regardless, and. I want to say congratulations to them, and they're number 2 in the AFC right now. So
yep, that is true. Well, let's talk about the LA Rams. Stafford's revenge, 28-19, beats up on the Lions. Actually, the Lions came out and kind of kicked them in the mouth real quick before the Rams could even kind of get their feet under them.
It was Campbell's orders.
Biting on his kneecaps off. No, they came out, they scored a touchdown, and then they kicked an onside kick. So they still, like, the Rams just were sitting on the sideline, just like, okay, when are we ever gonna have the ball? And then after that, they actually went for it on fourth down on a fake punt. They did a pass, and it was just like, the Rams were never going to get to touch the ball in the first quarter. And then when they finally did, they were only able to get a field goal because they just kind of came out flat. But then once they started getting the ball back, they kind of got in their rhythm and they got going. And they got on top of them, but going into halftime, 17-16. And then they just kind of finished the game out in the fourth quarter. They were just like, no, we're icing this game away. finished it out super strong and just 28-19, solid win. Matt Stafford got over the emotions of seeing his old teammates, and they handled their business and they did what they were supposed to do. No, I don't think anybody had any inclination that Detroit was ever going to win this game. I think it was just a matter of when, not if. The Rams were going to start clicking and get this game kind of wrapped up.
I'm reminded of a boxing analogy when it comes to this particular matchup. And I'm saying a boxing analogy, like you'll see some of these tune-up fights for champions.
Yeah.
And they'll just be fighting just, Joe Biscuit or whatever, So Joe Biscuit jumps in the ring, and what do you think this guy's strategy is, if you had to guess? I'm not going to veer off too far, too long. If
anybody can get knocked out, so just anybody can get caught.
Okay, that's fine. But the point being, let's stay there. I'll build off of that. Well, if it's a 12-round fight, I don't think they're thinking about going the distance.
Oh, absolutely not.
So the point is, you're going to have to come out with as much fury as you got in the first early rounds.
Yeah, that's exactly what this is.
Because after about round 4, we're done.
They had, I think, like 4 trick plays in the first quarter.
And that's that's basically what you seen. They came with everything they had the first quarter. And that was fine. They walked out of there 10-3. And then in the second quarter, they scored 6 points. They couldn't even get to the end zone anymore. Then in the third quarter, 1 field goal. And then in the fourth quarter, no points. It just they just faded in the fight. So and the Rams got stronger, and Detroit just I'm sorry, you needed to. Well, obviously you needed to put up 30 in the first quarter because to win the game. But yeah, it just that's what I was reminded of watching them. Like, they just came out furious in the first quarter, and I was just like, wow, could they? Because I even said, could they sustain this for the whole game? We're already in that territory. They're due.
They need to get one at some point.
Somebody has to give up one, and that's like, which is killing me on the game picks. So I'm just like, I know it's coming, and I'm gonna get burned on it because I'm like, I can't seriously pick y'all to win no games because y'all shouldn't be winning, but y'all should win one.
But they should, though, because this team actually is
the way they're playing.
Yeah, they're playing above their weight. They play such good football.
They're a bad team that plays.
I think this is one of the,
but don't execute well.
This is a testament to MCDC over there. He's getting this team to play just way above their weight because they don't have the talent to be in the games that they're in. No. And then they'll come out super flat the following week and then just get absolutely ramrodded by another team. So, they're very perplexing. They're really hard to figure out if they're ever going to get a win because they don't have that great of talent, but they do play so well together. So I don't know, but
and the Rams just looked awesome.
Yeah,
I mean, run game, I think they just used the run to control the clock, and I think they used it as a tool. So they kept spotting, putting Darrell Henderson Jr. in here and there. I mean, finished 15 for 45. It didn't look great, but it did control the flow of the offense.
Controlling the clock, controlling the clock game management, and just staying on schedule. I mean, he didn't. What was? Do you have his average yards per carry?
3.
Yeah, I mean, basically staying on schedule. I mean, you're maybe one and another half yard, but
I mean, but we already know where the floodgates opened up, and it was the pass game, and they just had. It's Detroit. I'm sorry, and then you're playing the Rams. I'm sorry, and no one is really stopping this team. So
no,
and Cooper Cup Bowl, and I mean, it was the Cooper Cup game. Obviously, 10 for 156, 2 touchdowns, 13 targets. I mean, my gosh. Excellent for fantasy. Just one more fantasy plug to our wonderful cohort partner, Jamal Williams, 12 for 57, led the Detroit Lions in rushing.
And you traded
so
that
you said he didn't do anything. He only led his team in rushing.
He led the entire game in rushing. 12 for 57.
Absolutely. Now. DeAndre Swift had the better game overall because his pass game. Oh my God, 8 for 96. Are you serious? and was number 2 in receiving, not number 1. That's what I'm saying. Detroit's offense is not as putrid as it seems. I do think execution is horrible.
But I do think they also need more weapons on the outside. like Quintez Cephas, I think it was he.
No,
Did he even play this game?
No, he's still out. He's still on IR.
Yeah. So who are there?
Khalif Raymond. Don't forget about my man T.J. Hawkinson. He was number 3.
Oh well, yeah, Hawkinson.
6 for 48. He had 9 targets. So I mean, they're utilizing him. It's just, man. I mean, you got to give this man Jared Goff some time. You got to give him a lot of time. Actually, let me be very clear.
Well,
you got to give him a lot of time.
They have that contract, so, so they're kind of stuck with him.
And then there's some guy named Bobby Price that I never heard of.
Yeah, they need to go get receivers. Like if they need to get offensive linemen.
I didn't even know he was over there. Good Lord.
Doesn't matter. He needs to be out of the league.
He was 0 for 0. I don't even know why. Oh, he has 2 targets.
Yeah. So I think the Lions, they still need more horses. That's what we're trying to say.
Kenny Golladay, time to come back.
And trade one trash for more trash.
I mean, dang. What's my man that's on CBS right now?
What is his name? Nate Burleson.
Nate Burleson, could we bring you out of retirement? Could you please come back and help Detroit out in this pinch right now?
Gotcha.
I mean, come on, half a season.
Yeah. Well, they traded away his quarterback. I don't think they want to. I don't think he want to come back.
Megatron.
All right. Arizona, they get a very, very convincing win over Houston. Arizona came out a little slow in this game. Houston decided, like you were saying, kind of your fight analogy, gave them everything that they had, and all of that turned into just a safety.
That's true. I didn't quite get that one from that. What I got from that was, let's stop prolonging the inevitable here. It's a person just holding up the line.
No, they did give them everything they had. Over? That's all they had.
Look, we're in the bungee cord line, dude. You have to jump. We all want to, and they just won't go, until finally somebody push them, and
somebody pushing them was Kyler Murray.
Yeah, in the
Kyler Murray
quarter.
came out there and just was like, sit down.
I have to say, I will share this. I was so hot after the first quarter. I'm like, what in the hell is going on over here in Arizona, and why is Houston acting like they that team now? Like y'all the freaking Houston Oilers.
They've been doing this all season, though. They're a team that's been kind of scrappy and trying to stay in every single game. But Kyler Murray came out and finished the game 261 and 3 touchdowns. Chase Edmonds leads the day in rushing, 15 carries, 81 yards. And Zach Ertz was the leading receiver, 3 receptions, 66 yards and a touchdown.
He got it right at the end.
Yeah,
because him and AJ Green was going back and forth, which was like AJ Green was the leading receiver at 2 for 50. It was ridiculous. Yeah. I mean, everybody's going to eat in this offense, and that's the other thing, So it's
got my touchdown from James Conner and DeAndre Hopkins. Kept me in fantasy this week, and then I messed up by putting in Justin Fields. It's my fault.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Mike, you got lucky. No.
Yes, I did. But super efficient game overall. I just if you let me just say that if there's somebody on Arizona that doesn't have a great stat line, it does not mean that they had a bad game. They are just the odd man out in the game script. That's all that really means. No one has. It
just
a bad
means
game.
Put them in your lineup next week because they're gonna get theirs next week.
It's what goes around comes around. It's the Tampa Bay model. All 3 receivers are not going to eat on the same week.
Yeah.
It's just somebody can't eat. So
unless they're going against the Jets.
Absolutely. But apart from that, that's you're looking at 2 sides of the same coin right now. But Zach Ertz did at the end of the game finish as the leading receiver, 3 for 66. Did get a touchdown, which helped one of the 3 that Kyler Murray had threw. The other 2, like I said, to your guy, DeAndre Hopkins, and then Christian Kirk got in there. I thought Rondale Moore was going to snag one.
That one pissed me off.
I bet it did. And that was just one of them games where it was just you're gonna feast and famine all in the same game.
That dude was doing nothing. I was going against Christian Kirk in fantasy, doing absolutely nothing, and then he got that late touchdown. I was like, come on, man, like can't do anything.
As long as it wasn't AJ Green, I didn't care.
That's fair. Hell yeah. We don't even have to get into that.
Joke's on you, sir.
And one that I don't want to get into, and I'm not going to get emotional about this, and I'm going to let you talk about this game because I I can't emotionally get attached to this.
For ratings, I think you should talk.
No, I can't. I can't do that to myself this week. Well, we could talk about it later.
All right.
But
I'll start it off and then you can just go in.
It's just the Bears and the Buccaneers. Buccaneers handled their business 38-3. Bears suck right now. Just let's leave it at we'll say one positive note for the Bears. Khalil Herbert looks like an absolute stud right now. 18 carries, 100 yards.
That's your other Rookie of the Year candidate.
Yeah.
After we keep going in this route, he's that guy.
The only thing is the second David Montgomery comes back.
I know it's a 2-game sample size, but for 2 games,
back-to-back 100-yard games.
He's in that conversation for me. I'm sorry, that he should be a Rookie of the Year kind of candidate. Period. Until I see anything, if I see a regressive game, okay, he regressed a little bit. Take him out.
No, he did this against Tampa's front seven.
I understand that. That's exactly what I'm. In spite of that's the one silver lining here. That as much as we trying to protect Justin Fields, guess what? We got another rookie that is tearing up the airway, the runways, which is Khalil Herbert, which is
when they drafted him, I said I was excited.
Great draft. Once again.
When they drafted him, I said I was excited, and he has just proven everything right for me. And I think he should be that thunder and lightning. He should be that second guy behind David Montgomery. And there's no shot at Damian Williams. It's just I don't think his run style fits Chicago's offense.
I'm not even gonna say it doesn't. I think right now Damian Williams should be regimented as a third down, change of pace back. Period. You know, and I understand.
Maybe third and short, you just got to kind of need more of a bruiser because he is the beefiest one out of all of them.
I'm going to say you can use him as a goal line back. I think there's still usage for him. It's just you got to just be strategic with it because by no means I think they have a wonderful running back tandem of all three of them. And I'm just
they're up there with the Indianapolis running back core right now.
Exactly.
Like they just everybody any given week. It just depends on who you want to go with.
Definitely
plug and play him.
Right, definitely better than New England's. If healthy, can damn sure rival San Francisco because San Francisco like what they got like 6 injured. Guys. You know, I was like they have the most.
Eli Mitchell, that dude is nice. We'll talk about San Francisco in a bit.
My team,
yeah, mine too. No, I just. Emotionally, can't talk about Chicago. Tampa Bay, great win. Defense, front seven came to play. Offense came out and capitalized on every single turnover, and they just handled their business. They were at home. Tom Brady throws his 600th career touchdown pass, gets that one taken away, and they throw it up into the stands for Mike Evans over there. They had to make a whole negotiation to get that ball back to go take that one down to Ken because now he is the only quarterback of all time in any time in the NFL to ever have thrown for 600 touchdowns. So another record broken by Tom Brady. I think he's going to have them all by the time he's done. So I think this is the second record he's broken this year.
Yes.
So yeah, this is it's just insane. But great win by the Bucs. Chicago's got a lot of work to do. A lot of work to do.
Yeah. Pass game is non-existent at this point. The only bright spot, one other bright spot I want to pull out of this, Cole Kmet led the team in receiving.
Yeah,
5 for 43. I mean,
I'm happy to see it.
Take it from what you can take it from. I mean, Cole Kmet I think is a bona fide asset on this offense, and in the midst of a putrid performance here, I think that there was some gems that came out of this with these young players and Kmet and Herbert. When you add them with your David Montgomery's and Darnell Mooney's, which was leading, he was number 2 in receiving, but just 2 for 39. It just was a bad passing performance overall. But there are some positives to take out of this. Bears got a lot of work to do. I mean, I'm saying this from the aspect of the offseason. I'm not jumping ahead of that. I just wanted to say that as a one generalized statement.
Yeah.
They just got a lot of work to do. I heard your rant.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's pissed. And I mean, pissed, disappointed, heartbroken, all of the above. It frustrated. I'm gonna say what the other silver line is, and it's not even on the stat sheet. Matt Nagy comes up with COVID. I am so excited about that. I need a break from this guy. That's my point of this. I know. It wasn't even a knock. It's really true. I mean, that's a bright spot. Bears fans, hear me. You will see on Sunday. I just think we need to get to see somebody else do you know what I'm saying? Just let somebody else coach for one game. And I just want to see what happens. Because if it looks anywhere better than this, we got a new problem on our hands, and I can't wait. Because it's like it's the beginning of the end, and now we can finally turn that corner that we need. We've turned the corner, I think, with the players. But on the management side, we have a problem. And I don't even want to get you started on this.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to follow.
I mean, but oh my God. And I'm not going to even regurgitate it. I'm just going to give a real Cliff Notes version of this. And it's like that. It is the equivalency of what is going on with management in Chicago is about as bad as what we just expressed with the New York Jets situation. It is bad.
And I was afraid you were going to say that.
You already knew I was going to say that because that's how bad it is. You know it,
I know
and
it.
I know it. I'm doing a skip Bayless now. It's bad, and notice I'm not going into the numbers. There's nothing to talk about here.
There is.
The numbers are horrible.
Don't do it,
right?
Do it.
I'm trying to bait him. I'm trying to bait him to say something. I don't want to segment at the end, but Tampa Bay, you won the game you were supposed to win. You went out there and you just beat on the. Let me be very clear. The Bears is actually a really they're an injured team right now. We're missing our number one and virtually our number two running back for 2 weeks. Yeah, we got Damian Williams back, who just is fresh off COVID. I don't know how he feels. I mean, granted, could he suit up? Sure. I mean, had Khalil Herbert.
I'm not even worried about it because we have Khalil.
Had something happen to him and he had to go down. Okay, we can roll him out and not Null. I get that.
We can't run out Null. Null's not on the roster anymore.
Oh, yes, he is.
They brought this. All right, moving on to Sunday Night Football.
1 for 4 receiving.
Colts get an emphatic win.
And we're done with that segment.
We are done. Colts get a win, 30-18 versus San Francisco. I told you Indianapolis was going to win this game.
You really going to do the I told you. I could just pick up my games and be like, I told you. You know, really.
Indianapolis, though, they actually looked really good.
You told me. Explain that on your fantasy team, then. You told me all this. You conflicted.
I was just conflicted. I didn't know what, because it was the rain and it was the fact that they were on the road. I didn't know what was going to happen in this game.
Who to start. I don't know. Start them both.
You changed the lead. You changed the settings. Let me
put a vote in, please.
I lost.
We need a break.
I lost in fantasy off of 2 monumental mistakes. I didn't know who to put in for defense between Indianapolis and San Francisco, and I called you before the game started.
Happened to play each other.
Yeah, and that's why I was just like, this is the worst decision to have. And I was just like, I just need somebody to confirm what I thought. And granted, I had San Francisco in, so it was. I
understand.
I didn't know what to do.
If you would have polled 100 people, I'm sure 90 plus would have said, just go with San Francisco. I'm sure. And just for those other 10, that was
because right before that, I was just like, Indianapolis. I just feel like they're gonna have like I knew they were gonna win the game. I had no doubt that they were gonna win this game. I just did not know if it was going to be. And I didn't expect their defense to play as well as they did.
Oh, that's the thing for me. That's where it's like I can't get a feel for their defense.
Their defense on the road, I just didn't feel like they were going to be able to come in. And on the road and play that well defensively. I thought the San Francisco defense was going to be able to get up for this game and make it tough for Indianapolis. Granted, San Francisco defense didn't play horribly. They ended up with 5 points, which is kind of run in the mill for, especially when you allow 30 points.
Exactly.
So they clearly had some big plays, but for Indianapolis, so their defense just absolutely killed it in the second half. And ran away with it and ended up with 10 points. So that was my number 1 mistake in fantasy. Number 2, I had some inclination that Chicago's offensive line was going to be able to do something against that front seven just to give Justin Fields 2 seconds of time to be able to play and get the ball down the field to attack the DB situation that Tampa Bay has. Clearly, there were guys getting open.
See how he went back to Chicago?
Literally, it's simply fantasy. They weren't able to get it done. And Justin Fields, that was a mistake because my only other option would have been Taylor Heineke, and he actually ended up having a decent game versus
We would have gave you plus
Green
16, but okay,
Oh, that one. Yeah, either one of these. If I make one of these two decisions to put in the other guy, I win. I win this week.
Oh, I can attest. You were going back and forth, and I even questioned a couple of them. Like, are you sure that's what you wanted? And you had made a very compelling argument about the Justin Fields choice.
It was so close.
I didn't see what you were seeing on the field. I'm like, I don't think so, sir. And then, but yeah, which is around why we're where we're at.
Back to actual football. Yeah. Indianapolis looked really good in this game. I don't want to hear it again. Carson Wentz is that dude. He came out in the rain on the road without his starting wide receiver in T.Y. Hilton. Just came out and just second half just ran away with this thing. They literally never gave a single shot for San Francisco to get back into this game.
I agree. Look, I'm rolling with Carson Wentz in 2, maybe 3 leagues now. He was my Russell Wilson replacement. I mean, like literally in both cases, like he was the only guy left. And
don't tell me Carson Wentz is a problem.
My team's been rolling. I mean, rolling with this guy. And I'm like, I am not super. I'm not down on him, but I'm not high on him either. But as we were saying, preseason, put him put him around talent, put him in a different situation. I.e., we fast forward, he's in Indianapolis. He's that. Now I can see, we seeing that Carson Wentz that we were seeing in that. I'm not gonna say the MVP level, but what you were seeing in that year of just that kind of efficiency and like his ceiling.
He still has not.
He has that
one interception.
I mean, look, if you want a game manager, a good one, this is your guy. Carson
a game
Wentz.
manager that can also win you a game.
That's what I'm saying. That's what a game manager should be. It shouldn't be really some guy who just, oh my God.
It's not the guy that just won't lose you the game.
Right. And he just happened to just make these 2 key plays or something that just change. No. I'm not talking about that. We're talking about somebody who can kind of hold their own. Now, he's not going to sit up there, man, we're going to really need you to put out a 400-yard game, 3 touchdowns. No, okay. Ain't no one's doing that.
In a key third down, he had a 13-yard rush to get the first down to keep the ball on their side after nobody could get open. I mean, he made play after play. He threw into tight windows and got the ball through there. He had the one fumble that was just like, okay, you got to hold on to that one. But again, it is a monsoon coming in.
And it is San Francisco.
And they're in San Francisco and against that defense. I think he was getting tackled by Nick Bosa at the time. Like, the dude is a game wrecker.
I mean,
he just across the I'm tired of hearing people just try to rag on Carson Wentz, and I finally for the first time heard a commentator on NBC there finally give Carson Wentz his due during this game and say like he's actually looked really good this year. Mm-hmm. He hasn't just been like okay and we're staying afloat. Like, yes, the team has lost games. Granted, he looked good at the time where he had 2 damn sprained ankles and was still coming off of foot surgery.
Yeah.
Like, this dude doesn't have feet right now, and he's still playing like this.
Looking good. I mean, man, God, Lord. A rushing touchdown, passing touchdown. I mean, he just 2 passing. I mean, the guy is just efficient. I mean, you can't ask. You could ask for a lot more, but you can't knock what you're getting here. I mean, how much more could you expect considering, just in what the hellish situation he just came out of in Philadelphia to coming into this situation. Started out slow, started out with some injuries. Here he is, like you said, simultaneously hit two sprained ankles
on the same play.
Just and shows up for the next game, by the way, and played well.
Yeah.
And then you go to San Francisco in a monsoon, and you not only win, you win impressively. I mean, after that little 12-point performance in the first quarter, they had just stifled them all the way until early in the fourth quarter, and they was only able to get 1 touchdown. They didn't get nowhere near the end zone again. And it was completely controlled by Indianapolis. Like Indianapolis, the same way we were talking about for Tennessee, they just kind of one of these Jekyll and Hyde teams where it's just like, These are teams I don't want to look at. You know, remember how I was saying like Philadelphia. It's just they hard out teams. Like you just, oh God, you know, it's just like man, okay, let me take a head count. Some of us won't be standing here at the end of the game because we'll be injured. You know, it's just it's one of them type of things, and it's like these are very dangerous teams. And all the respect and kudos to Indianapolis. That was an impressive victory. Puts them back in the playoff race right now, and in that conversation of contenders. You know, so. And congratulations to Carson Wentz, man. I have been waiting years to see this dude because I'm like you.
I've been saying it for years, and
the
situations that he's been in, everybody keeps saying that he is the problem.
Skip. I gotta stop you, man. I gotta do it, man. You gotta make me do the
Shannon Sharp.
Shannon Sharp. Come on, Skip. Come on, stop. No. Come on, let's be responsible.
I am being responsible. You got, not you specifically, because you just didn't have a take on Carson Wentz, and that's fine.
Okay.
But for anybody who kept saying Carson Wentz was the freaking issue in Philadelphia, clearly he's not. Now, granted, Jalen Hurts looks good right now, and he's actually saving Philadelphia from just absolute purgatory right now, but that's neither here nor there. Carson Wentz was not the issue there. I think it was really more of a Doug Peterson issue. He didn't want to play him the way that he played him in that MVP season. And now we're seeing him in a different situation with Frank Reich, using him the way that he should be. And by the way, Frank Reich isn't coddling this dude. He's actually, from what I've seen, he's actually been coaching him harder than he has anywhere else.
Okay.
And so for him to be able to do this, again, fighting through injury, one of the toughest quarterbacks in the league right now, and to, on top of that, continue to play well and lead this team in the midst of still losing some very big games that now they're in a hole and they have to fight back, and now they're what, 2 games down behind Tennessee over there? For them to be this close and to still be actually competing for that wild card spot, stop telling me that this dude was the issue in Philadelphia. This dude can't win you games, or he is the problem. He's clearly not. He plays up to the competition. He does more with less. He just continues to outperform the talent that's around him. He is a good quarterback that, especially if you put the pieces around him, he's going to be able to lead a team to what I think is a Super Bowl. I think he truly can. You get him a couple more pieces over here in Indianapolis, because leave the defense the way that it is. The defense is playing fantastic. Go ahead, just get a weapon that can stay healthy and on the freaking field, and have Michael Pittman be the number 2 guy, and maybe find him a tight end.
Receiver. Could definitely use more tight end. They can use anything in their pass. I think even if they can find another explosive running back, not necessarily somebody to compete with Jonathan Taylor, but just to.
That's why I would rather just go with a receiver or a tight end, because
first thing is first. I mean, but you always need a next man up type of person, just in case of injury or whatever the case. And I think they have basically all I'm saying, keep doing what you've been doing. Just keep adding. These people don't have to be ready to go, but they need to be next man up, because Khalil Herbert wasn't ready to go, and was no reason why I would have wanted to start him.
Was ready to go,
according to him. But, I mean, I'm not sitting in the practices, so I mean, I'm just making a point of it's just until that time, and then boom, you got a Khalil Herbert on your hands, or you got a Marlon Mack on your hands, or you got a Naheem Hines. It just, these guys, they have their value, and my whole point is, okay. People get nicked, they get dinged, time goes by, they get a little bit slower, they get whatever the case. You just want to keep bringing them in. I mean, I'm just saying, I don't think that's your number 1 target. Yeah, definitely at receiver. I'm like in tight end. Come on, y'all. Oh my God, it just hit me. Odell Beckham in Indianapolis. I would do that.
Point. Let's wrap this up, though. Yeah. We got one more game. I don't have anything to talk about with this game. Saints win 13-10 versus Seattle. Game sucked. Game was horrible.
Okay, we knew what was going to happen in this game. I didn't think it was going to be this kind of lackluster.
You told me. Okay.
I knew who was going to win. I didn't know it was. Did I say it was going to be like 13? Damn,
no, you just said it was New Orleans going to win this game. I picked Seattle. They were at home. They were at home.
But for how it turned out, it was a 50-50 coin flip. Like, Who cares? You know
We'll
what I
get
mean?
into it in the next segment here, so definitely
Geno
go check the
Smith,
next episode. I
kudos
have
to
some
your
thoughts
one.
about Pete Carroll.
Kudos to your 1 for 84 to DK Metcalf. It's official. You do not see anybody else on the field but Metcalf. I get it now. Just to all Tyler Lockett owners, sell.
No, you can't sell them now.
I didn't say sell high. I just said sell. Just get something while you can.
No, it's just bad over there.
Look, if Russell Wilson's not coming, I'm moving on. This is not even a
Russell
fantasy
Wilson will
state.
come back.
I said if he doesn't come back this year. I'm just saying he might dial it in. Why would
Maybe, well, yeah, I guess.
I'm basing it on that. I know it's a freaking mess over there. And they just lost 13-10. Congratulations to New Orleans on the road. You went over there. You took advantage of a beat up, decimated Seattle team. Congratulations. I guess. But I want to say congratulations to Jameis Winston. Welcome back to the league. Oh my God, because he had been sitting for 2 years. I'm like, dude, really, dude? Like, no one's gonna start this guy. So, that's my take. Congratulations to New Orleans. They pulled it out 13-10. It was kind of a yawner, but somebody had to win.
Yeah.